Feels surreal, doesn't it? It's round 27, the end of the NRL regular season before finals start next week. And we're going to be saying goodbye to some players this weekend. It's sad time for fans of all clubs. Players will be leaving to go to their new clubs as well. Saw it last week with the Cowboys in Reece Robson and Jordan McLean in his final game as well. But let's get into my round 27 tips after a very positive round last week. 7 out of 8. Starting off with the Brisbane Broncos and the Melbourne Storm. And the Broncos, they need to win to make the top 4. Otherwise, they need results to go their way as well. The Broncos, they're humming, playing pretty good football right now. They got away with some forward passes last week, though, against the Cowboys, but very competitive and have impressed me. I feel like they're the dark horse or smoky for this competition, besides sort of the other 3 that I would have winning the comp. As for the Melbourne Storm, they were embarrassed at home by the Sydney Roosters. They rested a few players last week. Here they have the inclusion of those players. I think they'll be up for this one. They have a great record against the Brisbane Broncos as well. But it's going to be interesting to see how much the Broncos put up a fight, because they have a hell of a lot to play for, whereas the Storm have wrapped up second spot. So will they go easy? Will they not care about their record of, Broncos only winning 1 game from 16 against the Storm? But I'm going to go the Storm by 8. I think the Broncos at home will be fired up, but I don't think they'll win this game. And I can see it getting ugly, but I'm going to go the Storm by 8 points, 24 points to 16. And I'm going to go Will Warbrick. He's going to be the first try scorer for this one, his first try in a while. Next up, it's the question on everyone's mind. Will he be a Rooster? Will he retire? He won't be at Manly. It is Daly Cherry Evans' last game for the Manly Sea Eagles. I'm being realistic here. It is highly unlikely that the Sea Eagles make the finals. They would need a hell of a lot to happen, and they take on the Warriors, who have dropped out of the top 4. This is going to be a really tough game for both of these teams. They've both been pretty inconsistent lately. Manly, in the last couple weeks, though, have hit a little bit of form. A little bit too late, though. The Warriors led the Eels and then got the try taken away from them. They were close against a bottom side, and Manly have been beating decent sides. I think last week the Dolphins, who, were just sitting outside the 8 with them. I can't remember who they played 2 weeks ago, but I think it was a couple wins in a row from memory now. Tough one to pick. Brookie Oval, Friday night. The farewell for Daly Cherry Evans. I don't think the party gets spoiled. I think the Manly Sea Eagles put on a show. I think they've been in good form lately. A lot of points were scored last week, and I think they keep it rolling. Manly Sea Eagles to win their last game of the season, 34 points to 14 over the Warriors. I think the Warriors travelling here and losing last week, and knowing how much they've been losing lately, missing Mitchell Barnett, missing Luke Metcalf, and it's showing. I think that in this game, the Manly Sea Eagles will be way too good. And my first try scorer is Mr. Daly Cherry Evans. Next up, it's the Roosters and the Rabbitohs. If the Roosters lose this game and the Dolphins win, then the Roosters' season could be over. The Rabbitohs, a massive boost via the bench of Cameron Murray, but no Latrell Mitchell for this game. Now, Alex Johnston needs 3 tries to break the record. I'm going to call it now. Alex Johnston's going to score 1 try in this game, and he's going to break the record in round 1 to start the NRL 2026 season with a bang, scoring a double. Fans on the field, you'll see it all. Now, the Roosters here, I think they're going to be too good. They're playing very good football. Sam Walker's back as well. Roosters 26, Rabbitohs 18. I don't think it'll be Roosters 13 plus, but I do think that they'll win this game, even though they have been a little bit inconsistent in recent weeks. And my first try scorer for this game, I'm going to go Robert Toya. It's been all Marky Mark last week, 4 tries. This time it's Bobby Toya going over for a try. Next up is the St. George Illawarra Dragons in their last game of the season at home at Wollongong, taking on the Penrith Panthers, who rested players last week but aren't doing it this week, and they are gearing up for finals to finish in either 6th or 7th spot. As for this game, the Dragons last week, I thought they were awful. I thought the scoreline didn't really reflect them, scoring, I think, 24 or 26 points. Their first half was absolutely awful, and if they play like this against Penrith, they will get absolutely destroyed. So, look, there are a few injuries there, a few players dropped that probably shouldn't be. Question marks over the Dragons going into next year for mine, for sure. And I think Penrith Panthers are going to end their season on a massive high, going into the finals with a 24-point victory over the Dragons. I know the Dragons are good at Wollongong, and I know the Dragons beat the Panthers last time, but this time it's not going to happen. It's Panthers 34, Dragons 10 in this one. And first try scorer, Isaac Tungo, he's going to score a double in this game. Next up, this is a farewell game as well. It's the Gold Coast Titans versus the West Tigers. Both of these teams playing their last game of the season, and a very hard game to tip as well, almost 50-50. But the Titans have not been great this season, and it's very hard to tip them. It is Kieran Foran's last ever NRL game, and, you know, he's had a massive career at a bunch of different clubs. And the Titans and Desi especially will want to get up for him. Can they do it though? The Tigers have been improving this year. They've been looking good. And at the start of the year, yeah, I'm looking at you, Ty. I put a bet on my mate, and it's going down to the wire that the Parramatta Eels will finish above the West Tigers in 2025. And so for that reason, and for the swan song of Kieran Foran, on the Gold Coast, something to cheer about. For the first time in a long time, I am predicting a Titans win by 6 points. The Titans to beat the Tigers, 22 points to 16 in this one. They scored a lot of points against the Dolphins, and the Tigers lost to the Cowboys just 2 weeks ago at Leichhardt to end their season. So yeah, I think the Titans win this one. And my first try scorer, my roughie for the week, I feel like Mo Fodawaker is going to cross in the last round. Next up, it is the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs, who aren't resting anyone, against the Cronulla Sharks. And the Bulldogs have locked up a top 4 spot. They're probably going to finish in 3rd position. And the Sharks, they're fighting for a top 4, but also depends on the results of the Broncos game as well. As for this game, it is a game that could go either way. Earlier in the year, the Bulldogs beat the Sharks, but the Sharks have been a little bit better and flat track bullies, and the Bulldogs aren't the worst side, but they haven't been great lately. I think something's going to click this weekend. Everyone's writing them off, and I don't know. I'm not writing them off just yet. I think they can make a prelim final if they do play their best football. I don't necessarily think they win week 1 against the Melbourne Storm, though, if that is their matchup, which it will be. I'm going to go the Dogs 13+. The Sharks, for mine, haven't been convincing. They were losing early against the Knights. The Dogs haven't been great, but I think they've been waiting for this opportunity, and I think they're going to silence people this week. So I'm going to go the Dogs to win by 14 points, 26 points to 12. I think their defense that we saw at the start of the year is going to come out here, and their attack's going to be even better. So Dogs for mine, and Marcelo Montoya to score the first try of the match. Next up, it is the Dolphins and the Canberra Raiders. Now, the Raiders resting players for this game, and the Dolphins pretty much with a full-strength team looking to try and play finals, but it goes on other results as well. Really tough for the Dolphins because last year they had to beat the Knights to get into the final. Now they have to rely on other teams to get into the finals. So I think the Dolphins will be too good here. I wasn't very impressed with them against the Titans. They had a great start, but God, they let the Titans back into that game, and I don't know if they should have won it, but I'm happy to win the bet that I gave everyone on the feed on Sportsbet. But look, I think the Dolphins will be too good for the Raiders here. I think the Raiders debutants will do a job, and like we saw 4 points come from the Panthers last week, and I'm worried about 4-6 points coming again, even a nil. But I'm going to go 32-14. Let's go some Raiders debutants to score some tries in the last round. So yeah, Dolphins by 18 points. And I reckon Hamiso Tabuai-Fidau, first try scorer. I remember I had Hammer or Coates for for top try scorer at the start of the year. So let's see if I can pick one of them instead of Marky Mark, who is the current leader. And sadly, for one last hurrah, Dylan Brown is leaving the Parramatta Eels off to the Newcastle Knights. The inaugural Dylan Brown Cup takes place on Sunday. Para fans, it is our last game of the season. Make sure you get down there to Combank. We're going to make some noise in the Swarm. It's going to be a massive day of rugby league. Now we take on the Newcastle Knights, who, you know, right now they're sitting at the bottom of the ladder. According to my prediction here, if they can win this game, they can avoid the wooden spoon. It also depends on results, I guess, for the wooden spoon. But yeah, there's a bunch of different things that can happen this weekend. And look, one of those things is Parramatta putting on a score, putting on 40, 50 points. We've been good against teams like the Roosters, Warriors, Broncos, beating some good sides. And the Knights are a very poor side. So we could absolutely expose them here. And I think we could. However, this is the Knights' last game of the season as well as us. And I think the Knights are going to want to go out on a little bit of a high. So look, I'm going to tip Parramatta, but I'm going to play it cautiously, at least for now. Even though they are missing some players, I'm going to go with the Eels to win 28 points to 18. I think there'll be some points in this game. And look, I'd love to back Mr. Dylan Brown, the jersey behind me, as the first try scorer. But I'm actually going to go his halves partner, Dylan Brown, Iongi, and then Iongi to Mitchell Moses. Mitchell Moses, first try scorer. Mitchell Moses as the anytime try scorer in this game. And Parramatta to finish the season with 3 on the Let's Trot. Anyway, those are my tips for round 27 of the NRL. I'm really looking forward to putting out a vlog on Sunday from the Eels-Knights game. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here. Please let me know your tips in the comments below. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys later.